No. Um, I will introduce you to Donatella. Donatella Fitzgerald is a teacher and a teacher trainer and has trained to teach the Mindfulness in Schools project from preschool to teens and the 6-week Pearson Academy mindfulness course for teachers. Her specialist interest areas is extensive reading and is experiencing creating and developing extensive reading projects. In her current role as ELL consultant at Pearson, she works with teachers and students every day to find solutions to help them achieve their teaching and learning goals.
And it's an honour today to be here for the first extensive Reading Association Italy conference and to introduce Vanessa Hartson Walker. She's the founder and director of Kids Can, which is a chain of English language schools for children and teenagers in Rome. Vanessa's trained to teach the Mindfulness to Children and Teenagers programme and is also on the training pathway with the Mindfulness Network and Bangor University. Now, most of you know Vanessa. She's very famous here in Italy, and she's recorded a series of programs for Rai Scuola, 9 video lessons on introducing mindfulness to teachers, and also a series on oral presentations and learning strategies, very useful for this time of year, which is exam time for many students. And this was all in collaboration with the Italian Ministry of Education and Merit. She's also trainer for the Elton Award-winning Pearson and BBC Live classes, and her special interest areas are very young learners, teenagers, mindfulness, debate, storytelling, extensive reading, SEN, SEL assessment, and teaching English online. So
thank you, Donna.
I will share
everybody back in the room now.
Everybody back in the room.
Yep, I can see. We've still got a big crowd. Thank you, Isabella.
Thank you. Excellent. Okay, and here we go. So ready for teaching values through reading in the primary classroom. So here we go. So Vanessa, let's bring us all back in with our hugging breath.
Yeah, this is great for transitions, which we have a lot in primary classroom. We have lots of transitions. So this can be a nice way to move from one activity to the other. This is a nice way to come back into the room. This is a mindfulness practice. So it's a little time for you to dedicate to self-care, which we need every so often. So just finding our breath. So breathing in. Breathing out, okay, and then just taking a breath in again, and on your next out breath, opening your arms out, okay, as if you're going to give someone a hug. Then breathing in, give yourself a nice hug, and on your out breath, opening your arms and just stretching a little wider, and then breathing in again, another big hug, slightly tighter this time. We've worked hard all day. And breathing out, one last welcoming hug, and then breathing in again, making it a little bit longer and a little bit tighter the hug, because we all deserve it. And dropping your arms down, and then just noticing the difference. Do you notice a difference before and after? Maybe you don't. Maybe you feel just the same. But it's good to have these transitions in the primary classroom. And how are you feeling now, Donatella?
Very well. How about you, Vanessa?
A lot better, thank you, and happy to be here.
Good. So am I. Very grateful. And perhaps everybody in the chat, tell us how you're feeling. So why should we teach values in the primary classroom? So, you know, any thoughts, put them in the chat. I'm going to move on. So as I say, because we haven't got much time. So, but any thoughts, we'd love to hear from you. So we've got at the English.com blog, one of the articles has some really great points about values. And obviously, we're not just English language teachers, we are educators, and we teach much more than language. So mainly we also help our children become responsible citizens who care about the world around us. And it really is essential that we use our classroom space an opportunity to teach the values such as tolerance, respect, diversity, celebrating differences. Children also need to learn empathy and manage their own thoughts and emotions and make responsible decisions based on social norms and personal integrity. So all of these things are really important. So what we're going to look at today are which values are key for young learners, and also some ideas on how we can teach them. Well, the good news is that graded readers and stories can help. So drawing on some themes that we've got with young learners that we can find from graded readers, because many teachers say, well, how can I start? Have you got a list? Where can I get? Well, any graded reader, you can, probably find values in there somewhere. And these are useful values to think about. So friendship, collaboration, appreciating differences, politeness, making a difference, self-awareness, goals, dreams, enjoyment, encouragement, persistence, inner strength, respect yourself, respecting nature, recognizing your own worth, believing in yourself, gratitude, making a difference, positivity, recognizing emotions and feelings. Okay, so Vanessa, this is from your school. Tell us how you started with values.
Yep, so it's a slow process teaching values. So each lesson we introduce a value and we focus on just one, which can be done through, obviously, as we said, through the book itself and just through demonstrating it through kindness or gratitude that you can introduce. So what we've done is we've made a wall and a poster. So each lesson that we introduce a new value, we can add to the wall and then eventually create a great wall of values, which the kids can see very often. And obviously we're talking about memorizing and helping them repetition, as others have mentioned before, because kids forget very easily. So just going through them each time and teaching them about values. As we have, empathy has to be taught from a young age. Yes, definitely. All of these are really important values. And as Michael mentioned with bullying as well, this is really helpful to be promoting positive behavior in the classroom, to be a good example. Okay, so finding a reader. Now we're going to look at some of the readers that will be demonstrating values in the classroom.
Okay, so how can we actually teach values, and we can construct this sort of method? First of all, students connect the theme to their life. Okay, and students begin to understand the value. And then we can get students to reflect on the value in relationship to themselves, but then get the students to share their thoughts and opinions, obviously, with their classmates. And a lot of this can be done in Italian as well. We can, mix it around. So we can also teach values through the characters in stories as well. So we can actually draw on the theme of the story or the reader or specific characters. Now, this is one of my favourites, so I've got this one today. So what are the values that you will find in Wind in the Willows? And it's a story about mole and rat. And I think the title there, the subtitle, gives you some friends. So if we got Vanessa, anyone?
Toad, yeah. Well,
and Toad, there you go, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, the values are, we've got friendship.
Yeah, we have friendship in the chat.
Very good.
Yeah.
And also differences. You've got badger, you've got mole, you've got toad, you've got physical differences, and also other types of differences. So, and all of those things. So that's the sort of thing you can obviously read the reader for its sort of linguistic value, but you can also pull out those values as well. And also another thing that's useful is to actually make the value stand out and real for the student. So personalisation. So here, for example, this lovely little reader, Katie, has bean plant. A lot of children do plant bean plants at this time of year, so that idea of connecting with nature. Many teachers I see have a classroom plant as well, and you can talk to your class plant in English. They could talk to their bean plants in English, and then they can read the reader. So again, we're whetting their appetite, we're getting them to enjoy the reader. And I always say, many children come from families with no books, so bringing reading into the classroom is a way of really starting them off. Okay, No, so another very important point is feelings and emotions. So, Vanessa, tell us about naming feelings and emotions.
Yeah, it's really important to start the lesson with kids actually naming their emotions. I think what we automatically do is we have, hi, how are you? Oh, I'm fine, thank you. And it just tends to be something that is automatic. But what we need to be doing is encouraging them to actually say how they're really feeling. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling sad. It's okay to actually say what negative emotion you're feeling, because this will actually allow you to measure how your lesson is going to go that day. If everyone's in an angry mood, then maybe you may want to tweak your lesson a little bit. And it's good during the lesson just to keep asking them, maybe their emotions or their feelings have changed. You can make these lovely emoticons. So some kids may not want to actually express their emotion. They may just want to point to it and just tell you how they're feeling, or tell each other how they're feeling. And this is a really lovely idea from Vincenza Lucido in Altofonte, where she created these emoticons in her class, and it's a great way to express feelings in the class. Another great book which really recognizes emotions and different emotions and feelings is The Wizard of Oz. Now, we all remember some of the feelings. Do we remember what the emotions were needed? So we had Scarecrow, Tin Man, and Lion. What did they want? Can you remember, Donna?
They wanted courage,
Courage,
they wanted
thank
a
you.
brain and
Yeah.
a heart.
Yeah, so to feel, and they wanted courage, and they wanted a brain so they could think. So these are really lovely stories to just present emotions, and maybe the wizard also giving them the emotions. So the act of kindness and gratitude there. So moving on to Donatella, who seems to look just the part for
Absolutely.
this
I've got my hat
story.
here for my pirate story. So basically, you can use the illustrations in the readers also to pick out the feelings. So here, you know, where are the pirates? Where are they? Oh, what have we got around them? We've got the sharks, and then are they happy? Are they scared? Why? And so getting the students, again, it's that noticing, which is really important, and also expressing preferences as well, expressing their feelings. You know, you might have a reader that you don't like, and that's good as well, you know, if you don't like it. But you can, if they do like it, perhaps just choosing their favourite page. It's a lovely picture here from, thank you, Sylvia. So lovely page in the story. Now we can also talk about this week's value. So this week's value is gratitude. So Vanessa, why is gratitude important?
Well, it's a keystone habit that needs to be taught. It doesn't come naturally to us. And it needs to be taught in every part of the lesson and reminded, okay? And a study published in the Journal of Happiness found that gratitude is linked to happiness. So it's also asking your kids after they've done something kind to someone or they've been grateful for something, what's the feeling that is linked to that? And they have to link the happiness to that, and they have to understand the positiveness that it brings into the class, and the fact that gratitude needs to be practiced daily. So you can do that through bookmarks, you can do that through another wall. So putting post-its on a wall on what did I do? What am I grateful for today? And some books, obviously, which promote gratitude. There are lots of them. One of them, Little Women and Anne of Green Gables.
And also we can remember to teach our children how to smile. Smiling is contagious. It's not just celebrities, but you can actually light up a room if you enter smiling. So, and we can use this Alice in Wonderland as a vehicle for teaching the smile with that wonderful Cheshire cat. And there are lots of cats without a smile, but a smile without a cat. So that's very important. And also, as is encouraging a positive mindset. Now, tipping the brain, the balance to positivity, and reading can really help us here. So the alarm bell of our brain, the amygdala, uses about 2/3 of its neurons to look for bad news, and it's primed to go negative. We call this the negativity bias. It's part of human evolution. But we can actually change this by appreciating and lingering on tiny positive moments. So, for example, if your students are reading a book and they're really enjoying it, just getting them to think about how they're feeling while they're reading, and just linger on those moments. And one thing that you can do as well and encourage our students to do is tell them, just talk about something that has really made you smile today. So Vanessa, something that has made you smile recently?
Everyone coming into the Zoom room made me smile today.
And if you're at home, anything that has made you smile, just write it down. So graded readers can help us again with all of these things. And one of my all-time favourites has to be the GLAD game. Pollyanna is an optimistic child. She finds good in everybody in every situation, and she came up with a game called the GLAD game. So whenever she feels unhappy, she looks for something to be glad about. So you can actually introduce the concept of positivity, for example, through the story of Pollyanna, and this is and she actually looks on the bright side of things as well. So again, that activity, these are all ways of bringing values and emotions into the classroom. Now, one of my all-favourite all-time events was this wonderful virtual hybrid end-of-year play that Isabella Marini, and a big
She's here today.
shout out to you. She's here today. Did in Rome. Now, Isabella, it was just so inclusive because she gets her children to read The Wizard of Oz, and then at the end of the year they put on a play and a show. And this is an idea for everybody, because it's not just a play in presenza, so for teachers and the students and the parents, but she also has a sort of hybrid version, and this was the online version, and the children all in their houses. It was during COVID, they all dressed up. But one of the most wonderful things is that but because it's online, and she organises it online as well, parents, grandparents, carers from all over the world, and her school has children from with parents and relatives from in other countries, can all join, and so they don't have to be there on a Friday afternoon. They can actually come online, and this is so wonderful. And we had so much gratitude there. So well done, Isabella. And the costumes
were amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. So I love that idea of extended whatever you do at the end of the year to be inclusive to people that have got relatives overseas. So thank you. Now,
this is a
paying
game.
attention. This is a really good game. And this is why I've got my Pirates hat on, everybody. So if you can all stand up at home, please. And we're going to listen and do the actions. Again, so port, if I say port, you step to the left. Okay. If I say starboard, you step to the right. If I say captain is coming, you stand and salute. If I say climb the rigging, you climb the rigging. If I say I want treasure, you look through the telescope. And if I say sharks, you swim furiously. So port, captain is coming, climb the rigging, port, captain is coming, and so forth. And this is one way of teaching some of the vocabulary in the course, just getting them really going and loving what they're doing. So connecting with nature, we have seen this, very important as well. And this is lots and lots of readers that have got some sort of nature connection. So again, it can be the pivotal catalyst for a little project on nature again, and really engage the students with reading as well. And then noticing. So Vanessa, tell us about noticing.
Right, noticing, as we've been mentioning before, noticing emotions, but it really is helpful to, and it's a big word in mindfulness, but it's also good to get your students noticing things that are around them. But it was also good for their study habits as well, because they start noticing things more when they're studying as well, because obviously they're used to noticing things on the screen or on their cell phone. So we will need to get them back to noticing things in the present around them. So you need to activate their senses. And what you can do is get them to go on a mindful walk, or you can even sit in your classroom and just say, right, I want you to activate your senses. I want you to tell me 5 things that you can see, 5 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. And this is called going on a mindful walk. And we've got these activities here that you can do. You can link to any season or any situation, and you can just get them to feed back to you. Maybe say, right, this weekend, everyone's going to go on a mindful walk, and your homework is just logging down what you've seen, what you've heard, what you've tasted, come back into the classroom, and they can all share what they've seen, where they've been. So they're actually really, really grounding themselves in the present and just noticing what's around them and actually being really in the present, which is going to help for future focus and attention when they need it and they need to be focusing on a task.
And they can also take their reader with them, can't they? So
Absolutely,
it's an activity
read
to
outside
enjoy
too.
it.
Yeah.
So another really important value is respecting animals. So find a story with an animal. And here we've got a little scientist. She studies animals, so that's nice as well. But any reader with animals is good. And also we've looked at paying attention. So paying attention, we saw that activity with the captain coming. That's a really good way of getting students to pay attention. And reading is something that can actually help students with that. Caring for the environment, again, very important. Children can be agents of change as well. So another important value. And one of the questions that we got before the webinar was the idea of how to sort of set up a story time and how to get the students, together. And one of the main things, obviously, is choice, empower them with their choice, but getting them to be in the present moment and noticing. So, Vanessa, do you want to tell us a little bit about getting them into a circle with their posture? And
yeah, so it's really important. It's just to bring them into the moment and just getting them to analyze about how much space they've got around them, because you know what kids are like when they're sitting or someone's too close, so they say, I can't see. So just making them sit in an area where they can see, where they're not going to get bothered by anyone. And we call it a bubble, so they can create a bubble around themselves. Then they can activate their ears. So everybody, before the story, we're going to activate our ears, because that's obviously going to prompt them to mean that they have to listen to the story. And then saying, so find your ears and get them to listen. And then at the end of the story, we're going to have a little bit of great gratitude, and we're going to thank our ears because they've been listening very hard and very well. So it's just creating this environment for them where they're going to actually enjoy the story more.
And in the Padlet, we'll put the link, but you can also, I don't know if you can see this, can you see it? We've got the mindful story time.
Hello, everybody.
We're talking about watching.
Welcome to
listening.
Mindful Story Time. Different shapes. So, let's start. Good morning, children. It's Friday. We're drawing shapes today. Good. We can draw. Okay.
So some tips for mindful reading with young children. Be present. Be in the present moment with your book and slow down and focus on what you're reading, and that whole idea of finding space and time for reading. Then if your mind wanders while you're reading, that's normal. That's what minds do. Just usher it back, to your book and get back into it. Don't worry about getting distracted. That sort of happens. Just come back and get the children to remember to thank their ears if they've been listening as well. And thank their eyes if they've been reading, and then encourage the students to choose, give them books at the right level. Promote obviously reading as a vehicle for well-being as well, and turning off the phones and no tests again. So just about anchoring in the present moment, Vanessa, and how that can be important.
Yeah, so we need to, this is really important for any kind of situation where they need to concentrate. So maybe they've got their invalsi ahead of them, or maybe they've got an interrogazione that we ourselves are giving as teachers, but just getting them to ground themselves in the present moment is finding their anchor. And their anchor can be something in the room, something, they can be their thoughts or their feelings. So what we're doing is we're just getting them to concentrate on what's happening in the present, so they can use this anchor whenever they notice something which is creating them anxiety. And this is obviously giving them the skills to actually deal with anxiety in a future situation of anxiety. So we also have summer reading, don't we, Donna?
Absolutely. So summer reading, this is in the Padlet. Encourage your students to choose something to read during the summer. Make sure you help them choose in the right level, and then get the students to work in the groups, they can perhaps then produce a poster or something about the book they've read in September, get all the students to present their poster. Remember Isabella's idea, invite relatives abroad as well, and basically they can celebrate their summer reading with their responses to reading, and it's also a nice thing for teachers to do back at school. So and also all of the materials that you get them to do, you can actually use in the school open day in the autumn. So two things for the price of one. Now, if you want your children to be intelligent, read them fairy tales. If you want them to be more intelligent, read them more fairy tales. So thank you, Extensive Reading Association Italy, for inviting us today, and speak to you all soon.
Thank you, Donatella.
Thank you.